How's it going, guys? My name is Stone, and today I'll be talking about an album that I've wanted to review for some time on this channel, Eat a Peach by the Allman Brothers Band. Now, out of the three records I own by this band, that being this one, Brothers and Sisters, and Idle Wild South, this record definitely became my favorite by them fast. And I say fast just because the band has so much more to offer here on this record, and the track listing on here is consistently strong throughout its 70-minute runtime, which is ironic because most bands tend to have trouble making a double album worth listening to from beginning to end. But I'd say on this one they really pulled it off. And I don't know how controversial this opinion may be, but I think that this is the best studio album they ever put out. My reasoning behind that is just because it still features the classic lineup with Dwayne Allman still in the picture, and the way they're able to balance their studio work with their live performances on here comes off in a very interesting way, and makes me want to listen to it or come back to it often. Now, the way I'll be reviewing the track listing is I'll start off with side A, and then I'll talk about the Mountain Jam as a whole. So I'll talk about side B and side D, and then close things off with side C. And I only do this because the order in which I originally listened to the album came from Spotify, so on there they have the Mountain Jam in its full 30-plus minute glory. And even with that, I'd rather listen to the Mountain Jam from beginning to end. I'd rather not wait and hear the songs on the third side, because I feel like it kind of loses its touch, especially when you're used to listening to all of it together. Plus, the songs on side 3 I think are a way better way to close this album off. But I could still see why the band chose to close the album off with the continuation of Mountain Jam. And before I start, I'd love to know what are your thoughts about it? Ask the question right now. What do you think the songs on side C close the album off better, or do you think Mountain Jam does? Because I feel like I'm not the only one that feels that way. But anywho, we kick things off with one of my favorite tracks on this album, Ain't Wasting Time No More. Now, this track isn't one of their loudest or most demanding tracks, but I still think it packs a punch with its thoughtful lyrics and rhythmic vocals by Greg Allman. And the performances by everyone else on this song is just as groovy and just as upbeat as the vocal performance. But to sum it up rather quickly, it's just an excellently crafted blues rock track, coming from a band known for making amazing blues rock, southern rock music. Then we get into Le Verse in A minor, which is a loose yet rather atmospheric instrumental that goes on for about 9 minutes. This track in particular is very nice to just sit back and listen to on vinyl, as the band really just shows off what they're best known for, which is their jam sessions. And even if it is a studio jam session, I still think it works just as well as their live stuff. And the song also tends to get louder and louder over time, which really makes for some nice moments of build-up and some great moments of crescendos in between the main melody, of course. Things then slow down a little and get a little moody with the heartfelt track Melissa. And Melissa closes side A off on a rather beautiful note. The use of the acoustic guitar on here really makes for some peaceful yet feel-good music. Peaceful and feel-good music. And the vocals, yet again, are incredibly performed. I like to imagine that this is the kind of song you'd want to listen to if you're driving by a sunset or something, or just really admiring the earth, everything around you. But honestly, you can really say that about any of this band stuff, especially with, I don't know, driving to some Allman Brothers music and going like 90. It feels good. Just kidding. But after that first side, we get to what I consider to be the centerpiece of this album, the Mountain Jam. Now, this song is indeed mountainous. It's about 34 minutes long, I think, so it really dominates this record. And thanks to the outstanding production and recording techniques used for this track, I feel like I could easily take in all of that air and energy that was felt during this live performance. Every band member on here is given a chance to shine, which really adds variety to the track. It makes me want to listen to the entirety of it. without, I don't know, getting bored whatsoever. Some of my favorite moments on here, I definitely have to say, are the slide guitar around the 23-minute mark. The drum duet is really good. The guitar and organ solo in the beginning of the song is excellent. And one of my favorite moments in this band's whole catalog is the last 4 minutes of this track. I mean, it just feels like a final wave of music that just crashes down on you, and it's just incredible. Into one of the best conclusions to an improvised jam I've heard in quite a while, and probably one of my favorites from this band, definitely. But to sum things up, Mountain Jam is a musical experience that just soars into the atmosphere, and I highly recommend you give it a listen if you haven't already. You don't even have to pay that much attention to it. I feel like even as background music, it still is really nice to listen to and will catch your attention. I mean, even as I do this review, this part is really good and I just can't help but want to admire it. But we then reach the third side of Eat a Peach, and it happens to be my favorite side, and it kicks things off with two live tracks, One Way Out and Trouble No More. Almost forgot. Now both of these tracks are much more digestible than the first live performance since they're significantly shorter and have vocals. Yet the band refused to make their performance sound anything less than stellar on here, which is amazing. These songs just have a rhythm that I can't help but want to dance to. Well, not dance to, but tap my foot to whenever I hear them. And the guitar work by Dwayne on both of these tracks is just dripping with talent. Definitely one of the best, or definitely known for being one of the best Southern rock guitarists for a reason. But, I mean, any song by the Allman Brothers Band that he's featured in just sounds incredible. You can definitely tell he added a lot of character to their music, and I don't think it really went away because he's not on the first side of this record, I think, and they still sound just as grand. But man, I don't know. Thinking about it now, you really could notice a difference. But my favorite moment, kind of went on a little tangent there, my bad. My favorite moment out of these two songs definitely has to be the final minute of One Way Out, where Greg just gives an incredible a cappella moment that's just chilling to me. And then I will say, the live version of Trouble No More on this album is way better than the studio version they did in their first stuff. Not to say that one's bad, it's just, like, I think this band, I like Grateful Dead, are one you really want to hear live, which is why I like this one much more. But then their studio work comes back on Eat a Peach and starts with Stand Back, another hard rocking tune that features some extra squeaky slide guitar and a challenging yet melodic drum pattern, and yet again another fantastic vocal performance. Like Ain't Wasting Time No More, this song is just another blueprint to that classic Allman Brothers blues rock sound. And I will say, it unfortunately follows up one of my favorite songs by this band, one of the best things they ever wrote in my opinion, Blue Sky. This track, like Melissa, is very heartfelt, but I'd say even more so just because of Dickie Betts' very tender yet very gorgeous lead vocals. And this song also happens to feature my favorite, or if not one of my favorite, guitar solos by Dwayne Allman. You know, listening to this album for this review, I never noticed how dominant his solo was on this song until listening to it recently, because it takes up most of its runtime. But it's hard to even notice just because of how lovely his performance is. This song also goes to show how talented and underappreciated Dickie Betts was at the time, because he really showed off how the band was able to create such bombastic music with these heartfelt tracks like Melissa and Blue Sky. And that lovely mood, or that mood of passion and whatnot, closes side 3 with Dwayne's final contribution to the band, Lil Martha. This is just a little acoustic piece that always pulls my heartstrings whenever I listen to it. And though there isn't much to it, I think it really, if you listen to the way I listen to this album, I think it closes this album off on such a high note. It just ends the album with such optimism and passion to it, which is something I assume the band really needed around this time, as they would lose Dwayne Allman around the time of making this record. But even with that, the band was going through a lot of drug problems at the time, and it was just really rough for them. And after the success of Live at Fillmore East, there was a lot of pressure, I assume. They had to follow up such an amazing record that this one is. But I think that adding the live tracks on this album was not only a convenient move for them, but it also helped expand the idea of what a double album can consist of, as it certainly adds variety to the track listing and makes it much more fun to explore. This album is one that, for some time, I was listening to almost every day after work. Probably for like a month straight, I was listening to it as soon as I got home. Because there's just so much on here to admire, and while it is blues rock, I think there's enough diversity between the studio and live stuff, the hard rocking songs and the mellow songs. I think it all comes together in a very appropriate way, and this band was able to pull off another amazing double album, in my opinion. And there you guys have it. That was my full review of Eat a Peach. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry, I kind of stumbled on my words there. I hope you guys liked the video. I'll probably talk about some more psychedelic rock soon. I was thinking about talking about the Beatles, because I'm getting into them slowly but surely. But we'll see. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and would consider subscribing if you haven't already, if you like the direction in which this channel's going. And I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.